1,000 words.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, first off, thank you so much. We're here with the legendary Guy Harvey.
Thank you.
And what drew you to Mako? Out of all the projects that SeaWorld has done, what drew you to Mako specifically?
Well, SeaWorld came to me actually about a year ago asking if I'd be interested in becoming involved with the new ride. And I thought, great, Mako is the fastest fish in the ocean, pretty much the top predator of all the other predators. And so knowing that the ride was going to be very fast and tall and long, a very appropriate name for the ride. A chance for them and us to expose the Mako shark for what it is, a most magnificent piece of evolution to the general public, the people who come to A, go on the roller coaster, but B, to visit the sea park in the first place. So through my art, which is obviously my primary business, and through our research efforts, through the Guy Harvey Research Institute, we are the world's leading research organization on Mako sharks in the Atlantic Ocean. And so we know a great deal about them. We worked on them for over 6 years now. So we've done a lot of tracking work, which is most important, a lot of life history and other biological work about them, because you can't keep them in captivity. You can't study them in an aquarium or in a zoo or in a tank like all the other billfish and big ocean going sharks. So you have to go where they live, and access is difficult, not only because they're elusive, but also they've been overfished and they're kind of rare now. The International Union for the Conservation of Nature will call a Mako shark vulnerable to extinction because they taste great. Unlike any other shark, they prey on swordfish and tuna, so that's what they taste like. And so people tend not to release them when they catch them, and in the commercial fishery, they certainly don't release them. They try and sell them. So in terms of resource issues, they face many. Even though they're cosmopolitan, found around the world, they are fished and taken wherever they're found. So my mission, of course, is to educate people about what a wonderful animal they are, how highly evolved they are, and B, to alert people to the fact that there are resource issues, not only with the Mako but other ocean-going sharks. But also through the art and through the merchandising, through the t-shirts and other accessories, we can get people who purchase these items to be a part of the research and education process by making a contribution to my foundation. And so everybody who buys Guy Harvey merchandise anywhere in the world is making a contribution in a small way, but meaningful way, to furthering our knowledge about these animals. Without knowledge, from a management perspective, you're just guessing. So the data collection process is the first part of a three-part process, which is data collection leads to education, and education leads to conservation.
And not only with Makos and some of the other sharks, one big thing that you and SeaWorld are really trying to bring to the forefront is to try and stop shark finning, a terrible practice that is done all over the world just for soup.
Exactly right. Shark finning is a diabolical practice of catching sharks, chopping their fins off while they're still alive, pitching the carcass overboard. You dry the fins and sell them to the Orient for a large sum of money. Now, my institute did the original estimates on just how many sharks are killed each year in the shark finning process. And it was estimated between 30 and 73 million sharks are killed per year just in the shark finning process alone, to say nothing of other commercial long-lining activities. So that's a huge number of sharks. And the problem with sharks is that they are long-lived, slow-growing animals. Their reproductive strategy is completely different from bony fishes, and it's slow, and they can't accommodate that level of extraction. They can't reproduce fast enough to, like tunas or salmon or some of these other preferred species. They just can't do it. They're not physiologically capable.
They just can't do it. Right?
So their numbers will always go down, and in many places it's crashed. The oceanic whitetip, which is a shark behind you there, has gone down to probably less than 5% of its pre-exploitation level in the last 50 years. And so that species is what we call commercially extinct, for sure. That's just one example. The Makos, beautiful shot of a Mako there that we took in Mexico. The Makos could face the same predicament in a few years if commercial fishing is not better managed. So we know now from the tracking that these animals travel great distances. They cross from one country's territorial waters into another, and the average Mako in the Western Caribbean may visit 10 different countries' waters. So say In the Bahamas, they protect them. Well, in Mexico, you can still kill them all. So this Mako goes from a protected area to a non-protected area. There's no point in A, protecting them, and B, not, because it defeats the purpose. So
the goal is actual just worldwide protection of sharks everywhere, right?
Regional wide is the first step. You know, take it in baby steps. Because it's hard for politicians to understand the biology of these animals.
Right.
They don't really comprehend the severity of the situation. But in some countries, I'm very glad to say that shark ecotourism has become a big deal in many Caribbean countries and in some Western Pacific countries, where people will pay a lot of money to get a great shot of a tiger shark or a Mako or a hammerhead or whatever.
Right.
And so the value of a living shark goes up. And in the Bahamas in particular, that is really good at shark ecotourism, they could generate anywhere from 50, 80, $100 million a year from just that attraction alone. So there's a bit of a switch now in the Caribbean toward that, and all the Caribbean countries, through the collective efforts of many different people, including ourselves, are seeing the light and trying to get countries to legally protect sharks.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. Yeah. And is there a website that people can go of yours to find out a lot more?
Yes, the tracking site is the most interactive. It's ghritracking.org. And that gives us you can click onto the species of marlin, sailfish or sharks and track them, all the tracks for the last 5 or 6 years. And some of the tracks are so cool, the tigers have gone like 3 years, 4 years, Mako's 2 years. It's pretty amazing. And SeaWorld has embraced that by not only sponsoring some tags for the next 5 years on Makos, but are going to have the tracking available not only here, but on their websites.
Excellent.
So kids can really enjoy learning about the animal.
Excellent.